Hello everybody, welcome to my Epistemologie Podcast. My name is Grishan Nokal. I'm a first-generation Indian American student. When joining Chicana and Chicano studies, I didn't really think I was going to be thinking so much about my roots and where I come from, but as I attended the classes, I started to notice many similarities in my own culture that relate me so much more to the class. Today I'm going to share a bit about my personal journey navigating life between two different cultures, my Punjabi heritage at home and my experiences growing up in California, more particularly in the Bay Area. I'll also connect these experiences to important ideas we've explored in the Chicano and Chicano studies class, such as Gloria Azadua's concept of living in the borderlands and Tara Yosa's idea of community culture wealth. Through this reflection, I hope to highlight how understanding our own identities can empower us and enrich our perspectives on education, representation, and the community. My parents immigrated from Punjab, India, where they were born in the 1990s to seek a better future for themselves and our family, making me a first-generation Indian American. Growing up as a first-generation Indian American meant constantly balancing two different worlds at home. I was surrounded by Punjabi culture, language, traditions, and expectations. Punjabi was spoken at home. Our meals reflected our heritage, and our family gatherings centered around our shared culture and traditions. Outside my home, however, I navigated an entirely different world at school, one shaped by American values, English language, and diverse social expectations. Being the oldest child in my family added an extra layer of responsibility. I was always aware that my younger sister, who now is in high school, was looking up to me. I felt the pressure to set the right example academically, socially, and navigating expectations of being a good student or responsible older sibling. This balance act became a daily part of my life. I constantly shifted between two different versions of myself depending on whether I was at home with family or at school with my friends. This constant shift resonates deeply with Gloria Azadua's concept of living in borderlands from her book La Frontera. Azaldua describes borderlands as space between cultures, languages, and identities where individuals often feel caught in between negotiating multiple identities simultaneously. Reading her work gave me the words to understand and explain what I had always felt, but couldn't fully articulate. My experiences growing up as a Punjabi American reflect these borderlands, always navigating between these identities, between family expectations, social norms, and constantly adapting in different environments. My educational journey further highlights this sense of living between two worlds. Attending Clayton Valley Charter High School was an environment that wasn't particularly diverse. It made me aware of my cultural identity in new ways. At school, I found myself constantly deciding how much of my Punjabi heritage to share. There were times when it felt easier and safer to hide and simplify parts of my culture just to avoid feeling different or having constantly explain myself. I wasn't always the strongest student academically, and balancing the expectations from both school and home sometimes felt overwhelming. At home, my parents placed a huge emphasis on academic achievement. Typical of many immigrant families who see education as a path to success and stability, this created pressure for me to succeed academically. Even though school didn't always recognize or value the culture, knowledge, and skills I brought from my background, Tara Yosa's idea of community cultural wealth deeply connects to my experiences. Yosa argues that students from culturally diverse backgrounds bring unique strengths such as multilingual skills, resilience, adaptability, and community knowledge into educational settings. And these are strengths that schooling traditionally overlooks. Reflecting on this concept has helped me recognize the value of my own experiences. Even though I struggle at times, my Punjabi American identity has given me unique tools and perspectives that have empowered me, not just academically, but also personally and professionally. As I continued my journey into college and began pursuing my passion for business, I became increasingly aware of the importance of representation, not only in education but also in society at large. Growing up, I rarely saw Punjabi or South Asian history represented in school criteria. Significant events such as recent Kisan rallies in India were often overlooked and misunderstood in mainstream conversations. The Kisan rallies, which started in 2020, involved massive peaceful protests by Punjabi and other Indian farmers against government regulation policies that threaten their livelihoods. Witnessing this powerful movement reminded me strongly of the Chicano community's historic struggle for farm workers right here in California. The Si Se Puede movement led by Cesar Chavez was similar, and both the movements connected through grassroots organization, collective empowerment, and the unwavering courage to demand justice. This connection was deepened for me through our class reading This Bridge Called My Back. This text emphasizes intersectionality and the importance of collective action by marginalizing communities, particularly women of color, to resist oppression. Just as the authors in This Bridge Called My Back called attention to how individual struggles reflect border societal injustice, both the Kisan rallies and the Si Se Puede movement demonstrated the power of unified community activism. Chicano studies helped me reflect on my journey as a Punjabi American student and taught me that navigating between two cultures isn't just my personal challenge, it's also my strength. Balancing Punjabi traditions at home with expectations at school has given me the resilience, adaptability, and the unique perspective on the world around me. Our exploration in this class through the different readings and presentations has shown me how the personal experiences connect deeply to broader social movements and struggles for justice. Understanding the parallels between movements and the history shows me the power that communities hold when we stand together. Moving forward, my goal is to use what I've learned both academically and personally to create meaningful change. Through my studies in business management, I aim to build inclusive spaces that celebrate culture diversity and support immigrant and first-generation communities like my own.